It kind of seemed like the Red Sox season was over before it even started. They had an underwhelming offseason, traded away players, and had some major injuries. Fans were rightfully upset at the lack of spending too. And what adds insult to injury is the largest contract they tendered was for Lucas Giolito. Before the season started, it was announced he would have to undergo Tommy John surgery. Things were looking really bad in the beginning, and a lot of analysts wrote off the Red Sox entirely. Well, here we are almost 40 games in, and the Red Sox are 19-18 and 5.5 games out of first place. I myself am even surprised that they are playing like they are. The question is it sustainable? And that answer really isn't abundantly clear. But they're doing a lot of things right that leads to the answer being yes, especially on the pitching side. But before I get into the team and player performances, I'd like to cover how the Red Sox even got to where they are. This offseason, they handed down 4 contracts to major leaguers. They were in the conversation for many players, but just couldn't reel in any of the big fish. They signed Lucas Giolito to a 2-year, $38 million deal, and unfortunately he's going to miss out. They gave Liam Hendriks a 2-year, $10 million deal, and he most likely will not pitch this year because he's recovering from Tommy John. But hey, I'm a big Hendriks fan. He's been pretty dominant. Cancer, Tommy John held him back. That's a guy who will bounce back. He's a warrior. But they also gave Chase Anderson a 1-year, $1.25 million deal and Cooper Criswell a 1-year, $1 million deal. Both of these guys have been worth the money, especially Criswell. Justin Turner declined his option, and they lost Corey Kluber to retirement as well. The more interesting part of their offseason definitely comes down to the trades they made. And trust me, I understand why a lot of people wrote them off after this. First off, they traded away Chris Sale, and they got Vaughn Grissom in return. I think Vaughn Grissom's pretty good, he's got a lot of potential, but when you're giving up an ace like Chris Sale, especially to the Atlanta Braves when pitching is really needed this offseason, I think the asking price should have been a little higher. I think you should have got more than just Grissom. After that, they traded away Alex Verdugo for Greg Weissert, Richard Fitz, and Nicholas Judas. They gave away 2 very solid players, and it makes you especially question the pitching staff. The best trade they made, though, was getting Tyler O'Neill from the Cardinals for Nick Robertson and Victor Santos. They really shuffled the roster around. They also gave Brian Bayo a 6-year, $55 million extension as well. But the biggest move the Red Sox have made might have to be from the staff. And that is the hiring of Andrew Bailey to become the pitching coach of the squad. Andrew Bailey was a former Major League pitcher and All-Star. He most recently worked with the San Francisco Giants with Brian Bannister. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know how high I am on Brian Bannister. The dude is a wizard when it comes to developing pitchers. Well, the thing is, Bailey is also very good at his job, and he had the privilege of working and learning with one of the best, and you already can see the impact he's had on the pitching staff so far. The Red Sox ranked first overall team ERA with an unreal 2.72. The next closest is the Yankees at 2.96, and after that, the closest is 3.25. The Red Sox pitching has been dominant this season, and you could see from the big bridge from ERA to ERA in the rankings. They have 4 pitchers that have a sub-2 ERA that have made at least 4 starts. Everyone is performing in the rotation, and I'm here for it. Cutter Crawford in 8 starts has a 1.75. Tanner Houck in 7 starts has a 1.99. Cooper Criswell, who I talked about had the $1 million deal, has a 1.74 in 4 starts. And Garrett Whitlock, he has a 1.96 in 4 starts. I'm not done yet, because besides that, Brian Bayo has 5 starts with a 3.04, Nick Pivetta has 3 starts with a 3.6, Josh Winkowski has a 3.33 in 3 starts, and there's more, because Brennan Bernardino has a .61 ERA in 2 starts. This rotation is the pride and joy of this team, and they have had the privilege of having the big names and guys working to make names for themselves all show up and ball out. The bullpen has been pretty solid too. Kenley Jansen has a 1.69 ERA and is 5 for 6 on saves. Greg Weissert, who is in the Verdugo trade, is showing his value with the 1.17 in 15 innings. They have 5 bullpen arms with a sub 2.5 ERA, and 3 of those guys in the pen have a sub 2 ERA. A lot of production is coming from their pitching. Andrew Bailey has helped this pitching staff become one of the best in baseball, and his approach is very unconventional in today's 100+ mile/hour era. Here's the thing, the MLB average this year is 47% of all pitches are fastballs. Well, the thing is, the Red Sox are throwing fastballs at a very low rate of 31.8% this year. They actually have the lowest fastball rate in baseball, if you haven't guessed that already. Fastball usage for general and baseball as a whole has just steadily decreased. because in 2008 it was 59.7% of all pitches were fastballs, and last year in 2023 that dropped all the way down to 47.8. You have an over 12% decrease. Now the league is on pace to lower it, as the trend has been with a 47% even rate. I mean, it's only a 0.8 drop off, but the trend is gradually went down year after year. Andrew Bailey has just figured out that fastballs aren't the key. In reality, it's your best pitch, and it's getting that best pitch over the plate. In 2023, fastballs were hit with a batting average of 269 league-wide, and that's the highest of all pitches. The closest to it was the changeup with an average of 239. That is 0.03 off. That's pretty big. Everything else was also lower, with the lowest being sliders at a 0.220. Data backs up the lower usage of the fastball too. Tanner Houck, for instance, ditched his four-seamer entirely, and now he's a sub-2 ERA pitcher. It is also easier to locate off-speed for this team, and this is backed up by them allowing the least amount of walks in baseball. Andrew Bailey has genuinely built a championship-caliber pitching staff, and he deserves a lot of credit. I believe this team is sustainable because the offense is playing above league average. In my video about the Mariners, I talked about how they had a top 5 rotation, and that basically carried them, but they also had a bottom 5 offense. But the thing is, the Red Sox have the best pitching staff, and their offense has scored the 14th most runs in baseball. It's not great, it's not bad, but above average will win you some games when the pitching staff is not on their game. They also rank 12th overall in average, 10th in on-base percentage, 9th in steals, and 14th in homers. This offense is actually pretty solid. They have found success in players that you most wouldn't expect. The obvious answer to that is Tyler O'Neill, who is a .393 on-base percentage with 9 homers. But here's the thing, Connor Wong is hitting .354 with 5 homers. Wilyer Abreu is hitting .276. Tristan Casas has a .344 on-base percentage with 5 home runs. Rafi Devers is still playing like an all-star too, because he's hitting .289 with a .405 on base, along with 4 homers. You have the production from the names, and you have production from the guys who aren't as notable. They have a lot of solid players, and this offense is sneaky good. The reality of the Red Sox is the stats do say this team is sustainable. The staff is the best in baseball, and the offense is between 10 and 15 overall, and the thing is, that's going to get you somewhere. As to where that somewhere is, the answer's kind of unclear, because the Orioles, I think they're going to run away with that division, because that team is just stacked. But I will say, I think a wild card could be in the books for the Red Sox if they make the playoffs this year. This team is fun to watch, and they are way better under Bailey in the new front office, and it's very clear. They have 3 top 40 prospects that are all on the offensive side, so that will provide a lot of boost for when those guys come up. Red Sox are interesting, and they're doing it right. Red Sox fans, you guys have hope for the first time since Mookie Betts is traded, because this is sustainable. But anyways, go ahead and comment your thoughts on the Red Sox roster below. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.